Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Om Agyana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savdutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Pancha Kalpa Taruvyascha Kripa Sindhu Vya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so on behalf of the Education Department of ISKCON Chile, we would like to welcome all of you. We have with us here today Munesh Purohit Prabhu. Then we have Aja.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Then we have Devina. My husband is there. We have Dipti Adnani, Durga Prasad, Harshvardhan Reddy, Jiveshwari Gandharvika Devidasi, Kamala Nandini, Mataji. Then we have Anjali, Karuna. Then we have Krishna Bandhu, Krishna Prakash. We have Krishna Priya Devidasi, Kumar Ram Gulam. Then we have Lomasamuni Prabhu, along with his wife Vijapriya Mataji. Then we have Makeshwari, Meenakshi, Naresh, Auntie Nita, Priyanka Jha. Then my parents are there. We have Ritu Lalwani, Rohan Krishna Das, Saket, Shantaram Latkar. We have Shreya Kalaria, Shivani, and we have Swapna. Okay. So as we said, this is the Krishna book course. Today is our first class. And what we will do today is we will read the preface and the introduction today. And from the next week onwards, if Krishna so sanctions, we'll begin with chapter 1 of the Krishna book. Let me share my screen. Can you all see the screen?
Okay. Yes, now.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. So what is this Krishna book? No, Srila Prabhupada titled this as Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this Krishna book is a summary study of Srila Vyasadev's Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto. So ISKCON founder Acharya and our preeminent Shiksha Guru, Srila Prabhupada, has written a commentary on the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is the commentary of the 10th canto. Now let us, before we get into the preface and the introduction of Krishna book, let us try to understand what is Srimad Bhagavatam, how have we received all this knowledge, why we should accept the Srimad Bhagavatam as authority. It's very important we understand all these things. So all this transcendental knowledge is coming from Krishna himself. At the dawn of creation, via the sound vibration of his flute, Krishna passed down this knowledge to Lord Brahma, who is the first created living entity. After that, Lord Brahma passed down this knowledge to his son, Narada Muni. Narada Muni in turn gave this knowledge to Vyasadeva. So like this knowledge is coming from Krishna down through the disciplic succession, down through the Guru Parampara. From the Guru to the disciple, it is spoken, and this is how this knowledge is passed down. Now, because this knowledge is coming down from Krishna himself, this knowledge is perfect. Because God cannot make mistakes. God is not going to cheat us. No, He is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is the final authority on the science of God. So, therefore, because this knowledge is coming directly from Krishna, therefore it is perfect. And because the gurus in the Guru Parampara, any bona fide authorized guru in the Guru Parampara is going to pass down this knowledge without any addition or subtraction, will pass down this knowledge as it is. Therefore, even when the knowledge is coming from the guru, from his guru, his guru, his guru, therefore, all the knowledge coming down in this Guru Parampara is perfect. So, therefore, we should accept it as authority. Now, when this knowledge was passed down previously, it was only spoken by the Guru and heard by the disciple. The memories in the previous ages, in the previous yugas, was so sharp that once the disciple hears from the Guru, he would remember it forever, for the rest of his life. Now, one shot from the spiritual master, and the disciple would remember it. But Srila Vyasadeva, he knew that in Kali Yuga, fast approaching Kali Yuga, there are many things that are going to decline. 8 of these more prominent things are mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So what are the 8 prominent things mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam that declines are religion, truthfulness, cleanliness, tolerance, mercy, duration of life, physical strength and memory. So this says will all diminish day by day because of the powerful influence of the age of Kali. So because these things are declining, especially because memory is declining, so what Vyasadeva did for the benefit of the people of Kali Yuga, which means for our benefit, what he did was he put everything into writing. He wrote them on palm leaves. So he has composed the Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas, Vedanta Sutras, and Mahabharata. He put everything into writing. Actually, Vyasadeva is a Shaktavesha avatar, or he's the empowered incarnation. What do we mean by empowered incarnation? When an ordinary living entity, or when a living entity is empowered, no, he's given the potency, the power to do something which is otherwise an impossible task, then that personality is called as a Shaktavesha avatar, or an empowered incarnation. So Vyasadeva was given the impossible task. No, he was empowered to put everything into writing. So therefore, he is an empowered incarnation. Now, one would think that after he has composed such great transcendental Vedic literature, one would be very satisfied, one would be very happy. But still, after he composed all this literature, he was not feeling satisfied. He felt incomplete. He felt as though something is missing. So, just as how a good disciple should do when in doubt, he also consulted with his spiritual master, Narada Muni, as to what is the reason for my feeling of dissatisfaction. So then, upon the advice of Narada Muni, he composed his final masterpiece, which is the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the final masterpiece that is composed by Srila Vyasadeva. Now, this Srimad Bhagavatam is also called as Paramahamsa. What do we mean by Paramahamsa Samhita? Paramahamsa Samhita means it is a literature that is enjoyed by even the great transcendentalist, by the great Paramahamsas. Paramahamsas, see, great transcendentalists are called as Paramahamsas. They are compared to swans, Hamsa. And Paramahamsa means great. So why are transcendentalists compared to swans? Is because swans have the ability of separating milk from water. If you mix milk and water together and give it to them, they have a special beak, no, by which they can only suck in the milk and they leave out the water. So great transcendentalists, they see only the good, and they ignore the bad. So therefore they are called as Paramahamsas. So Srimad Bhagavatam is called as a Paramahamsa Samhita, that literature which is enjoyed by the great transcendentalists. It is also called as Param Jnanam, the greatest knowledge, because Srimad Bhagavatam does not have even the slightest tint of material religiosity. It only discusses pure transcendental knowledge, only pure devotion. There is no tinge of any kind of materialism in this entire literature. Therefore, it is called as Param Jnanam. It is also called as a Mahapurana. It is the greatest of all the Puranas. There are 18 major Puranas, but the Srimad Bhagavatam is the Mahapurana. Then we have Sarva Vedanta. It is also called as a Sarva Vedanta Saram. It is the essence of all Vedic literature. It is called as Puranam Amalam or the Amala Purana or the spotless Purana. Again, for the same reason that it does not have even the slightest tinge of material religiosity. It talks only about pure transcendental knowledge. So, therefore, it is called as the spotless Purana. It is also called as Vaishnavanam Priyam. It is very, very dear to the Vaishnavas. It is very, very dear to the devotees because this Srimad Bhagavatam glorifies Krishna and it glorifies the devotees of Krishna. And it also enumerates the sweet, loving, transcendental pastimes that are enjoyed by the Lord and his devotees. It is called as the Nigama Kalpatarur Galitam Phalam, which means it is the ripened fruit of the tree of Vedic knowledge. If the whole Vedic knowledge is compared to a tree, then the Srimad Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit of that tree, because the ripened fruit is the best part of the tree, is it not? The tree has many parts, but the ripened fruit is the best part. So therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit of the tree of Vedic knowledge. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is divided into 12 cantos, 335 chapters and 18,000 verses. And as we discussed, Kṛṣṇa book is a commentary on the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So these 12 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam represent the limbs of Lord Sri Krishna's transcendental body according to our Puranas. So the first and second cantos of the Bhagavatam are Sri Krishna's lotus feet. The third and fourth cantos are his thighs. The fifth canto is his navel. The sixth canto is his chest. The seventh and eighth canto are his arms. The ninth canto is his throat. The 10th canto is his beautiful lotus face. The 11th canto is his forehead. The 12th canto is his head. So, just as how one is advised to see the deity when we go to the temple, we see the deities. It is advised that we should take the darshan of the deity starting from his lotus feet and then we go up to his lotus face. No? So Srila Prabhupada writes in the preface to Srimad Bhagavatam, to view the deity of Krishna in the temple, we are advised to begin at his lotus feet and gradually rise to his lotus face. Similarly, because the Bhagavatam is non-different from Krishna, one should study it step by step from the first canto to the last. Srila Prabhupada emphasizes the only qualification one needs to study this great book of transcendental knowledge is to proceed step by step cautiously and not jump forward haphazardly as with an ordinary book. It should be gone through chapter by chapter, one after the other. So, Srila Prabhupada is explaining how we should not directly jump to the 10th canto. We should read the Srimad Bhagavatam starting from the first canto, then 2, then 3, then 4, and then we proceed to 10, 11, 12, like that. No? So, this is what Prabhupada is recommending. So, one may question that we have not covered the previous cantos. Why are we directly reading the commentary of the 10th canto? No, because it appears that there is a contradiction. So, how to answer this question? So the point we are making here is Srila Prabhupada's purports are interwoven within the text of Kṛṣṇa book. So when Prabhupada writes a commentary, when our Acharya, he writes the commentary, so he's also explaining those complex texts of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So because we are reading it under the guidance of Srila Prabhupada, because we are reading it with the commentary of Srila Prabhupada, because we are reading it with the commentary of our founder Acharya, therefore we can be qualified to understand the 10th canto. So let's see now the dedication. Srila Prabhupada dedicates this. He says, "To my father, Gaur Mohan De, a pure devotee of Krishna, who raised me as a Krishna conscious child from the beginning of my life. In my boyhood ages, he instructed me how to play the mridanga. He gave me Radha Krishna Vigraha to worship, and he gave me Jagannath Rath to duly observe the festival as my childhood play. He was kind to me, and I imbibed from him the ideas later on solidified by my spiritual master, the Eternal Father, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami." So we can see how Srila Prabhupada was raised in Krishna consciousness from his very childhood, which is also so crucial for us as parents, no? How we are going to raise our children. See, what are the kind of things that his father gave him? Mridanga, the deities of Radha Krishna, and in the Jagannath Ratha, the cart of Jagannath. These are the things that he was provided when he was a child. Then, George Harrison also has written a few words. He writes, George Harrison from the Beatles, he writes, "Everyone is looking for Krishna. Some don't realize that they are, but they are. Krishna is God, the source of all that exists, the cause of all that is, was, or ever will be. As God is unlimited, he has many names." What name of Krishna means that he is unlimited? You need to unmute your microphone and speak. What name of Krishna means that he is unlimited?
Ananta.
Ananta, yes, Ananta, very good.
Ananta.
Allah, Buddha, Jehovah, Rama, all are Krishna, all are one. God is not abstract. He has both the impersonal and the personal aspects of his personality, which is supreme, eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. So Krishna is Sat Chit Ananda. No, God means he is Sat Chit Ananda. Sat means he is eternal. It's not that he is born and he dies. He eternally exists. Then Chit, he is full of knowledge. God knows past, present, future. He knows everything. He knows even what we are thinking. No, God is that personality who is full of knowledge. There is no trace of any ignorance. And Ananda, he is always eternally blissful. So God means he is Satchit Ananda and full of knowledge. As a single drop of water has the same qualities as an ocean of water, so has our consciousness the qualities of God's consciousness. So what does this mean? No, just as how God is Satchitananda, we, the spirit soul, the Atma also is Satchit Ananda. So even we as spirit souls, we are eternal because the soul never dies. The soul may change bodies. Death means the soul is taking another body. So soul is eternal. The soul never dies. Soul is full of knowledge, and also the soul is blissful. Because we have taken this material body, therefore we may go through some pains and pleasures associated with the body. But once we don't have this body and we enter the spiritual world, once the soul enters the spiritual world, then there is no question of any material problems, no question of disease, no question of old age, no question of death. So because Krishna is Satchitananda, we are also Satchitananda. So in terms of quality, we are same as Krishna. But in the terms of quantity, we are very, very minute compared to Krishna. So Krishna is supremely powerful. We are minutely, we may have some little minute power or potency. So to understand this with an example, if you take a cup of water from the ocean, the cup of water and the water in the ocean, they are the same in quality. It will have the same composition of minerals, right? But in terms of quantity, there is a vast difference. How much water is there in the cup and how much water is there in the vast ocean. But through our identification and attachment with material energy, physical body, sense pleasures, material possessions, ego, etc., our true transcendental consciousness has been polluted, and like a dirty mirror, it is unable to reflect a true image. So if we see our image on a mirror that is full of dust, we are not able to see our image in the mirror because it is covered with dust. So when our consciousness is polluted, then we are not able to realize that Satchitananda. We are not able to realize that bliss and happiness and eternity. We are forced to die. We are forced to grow old. We are forced to get a disease, even though we don't want to get a disease. We don't want to grow old. We don't want to die. With many lives, our association with the temporary has grown. This impermanent body, a bag of bones and flesh, is mistaken for our true self, and we have accepted this temporary condition to be final. So we think, every living entity thinks that I will never die. We are thinking that this temporary condition here that we are going through, this body, that is all that is going to be final, but that's not true. Through all ages, great saints have remained as living proof that this non-temporary permanent state of God consciousness can be revived in all living souls. Each soul is potentially divine. So see this word revive. Revive means something that is already there but we have forgotten, and then it can be revived. It's not that God consciousness is something new that we have to cultivate. It is there in the heart of each and every one of us. It's already there. Only thing that it has become dormant. Only thing that the dust has accumulated on the mirror. So what we need to do is we have to remove the dust from the mirror. By removing the dust from that mirror, then we can revive our Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, steady in the self, being freed from all material contamination, the yogi achieves the highest perfectional stage of happiness in touch with the supreme consciousness. Yoga is the process by which we purify our consciousness, stop further pollution, and arrive at the state of perfection, full knowledge, full bliss. So yoga does not mean those physical exercise, because in the modern language, yoga is now only associated with the physical exercises that we do, which is good because it helps one improve the health and also improves the longevity. But yoga actually means union. The word yoga means union with the Lord. That is the real meaning of this term. So by practicing yoga, then we can purify our consciousness. If there is a God, I want to see him. It's pointless to believe in something without proof. And Kṛṣṇa consciousness and meditation are methods where you can actually obtain God perception. So you can actually see God if we engage in yoga processes. You can actually see God and hear him, play with him. It might sound crazy, but he is actually there, actually with you. There are many yogic paths, Raja, Jnana, Hatha, Kriya, Karma, Bhakti, which are all acclaimed by the masters of each method. Swami Bhaktivedanta is, as his title says, a Bhakti yogi following the path of devotion. By serving God through each thought, word, and deed, and by chanting his holy names, the devotee quickly develops God consciousness by chanting. See, there are many paths. So all these paths Krishna actually describes in detail in the Bhagavad Gita. But Bhakti Yoga is the fastest method. If you want to climb a 100-floor building, there are many ways to get to the top floor. No, you have the staircase, you have the moving steps, you have the lift, and you may have something that will immediately lift you up there. So Bhakti Yoga is a quick process. Very quickly you can attain perfection. And what is the best method? Bhakti Yoga, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So by chanting this, one inevitably arrives at Krishna consciousness. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. So anyone who chants this Hare Krishna mantra is called as a Maha mantra, which means it is the mantra of all the mantras. It's the most potent mantra. So anyone who chants this mantra can very quickly perfect oneself in Krishna consciousness. So one has to do it to be able to experience it. I request that you take advantage of this book, Kṛṣṇa, and enter into its understanding. I also request that you make an appointment to meet your God now through the self-liberating process of yoga and give peace a chance. So George Harrison has written this text. Then preface. Srila Prabhupada writes, he starts with this Srimad Bhagavatam shloka, and he writes, glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is performed in the parampara system. That is, it is conveyed from the spiritual master to disciple. So as we discussed previously, how this knowledge is coming in the Guru Parampara, from the spiritual master to disciple. Such glorification is relished by those no longer interested in the false temporary glorification of this cosmic manifestation. Descriptions of the Lord are the right medicine for the conditioned soul undergoing repeated birth and death. Therefore, who will cease hearing such glorification of the Lord except a butcher or one who is killing his own self? So, just as how when we are diseased, when we have a disease, We go to the doctor prescribes a medicine, we take the medicine, and then we are cured of the disease. Similarly, because we are materially diseased, we go to the doctor, we go to the spiritual doctor, we go to the spiritual master, the guru, and he gives us the medicine. What is the medicine he's giving us? Chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So you chant, and then the more we chant, the more we follow the instructions of the Guru, the more we follow the regulative principles, then we are cured of our material disease. So if one is diseased, who will not want to take medicine? No, one will not say, okay, it's better. It doesn't matter. I can continue to be in the disease state. No, we want to be cured of the disease. So if one is not going to the doctor, then one is committing suicide, no, because one is not going to be cured. The disease is going to only aggravate over time, and it may even cause death. So if one doesn't go to the guru, get the mantra, then one is committing what you call as spiritual suicide, killing your own self. In the Western countries, when someone sees the cover of a book like Kṛṣṇa, he immediately asks, who is Kṛṣṇa? Who is this girl with Kṛṣṇa? The immediate answer is, Kṛṣṇa is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How is that? Because he conforms in exact detail to descriptions of the Supreme Being, the Godhead. So what is the definition of God? What is the definition of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So here in this text, Srila Prabhupada explains that God is that personality as given by the definition of Parashara Muni. Parashara Muni is the father of Vyasadeva. No? So Parashara Muni gives this definition of God. God is that personality who has wealth, power, fame, beauty, wisdom, and renunciation. So these are the 6 opulences. And one who has all 6 opulences in full quantity, then that personality is Kṛṣṇa. That personality is God. So because Kṛṣṇa comes under this definition, therefore he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore that name Kṛṣṇa means, the meaning of that name Kṛṣṇa means all attractive. That's what that name means. So why is he all attractive? Is because he has all these 6 opulences in full quantity. Anybody who has even a little bit of wealth, a little bit of power, a little bit of fame, a little bit of beauty, wisdom, or renunciation is very attractive. We get attracted to such people, is it not? Even if they have a little bit of these things. But imagine Kṛṣṇa, he has all 6 opulences in full quantity. So it's only natural that one becomes attracted to Kṛṣṇa. So therefore that name Kṛṣṇa means all attractive. Then Srila Prabhupada goes on to write that how in this around us, we see many rich people, many powerful people, many famous people, many beautiful people, many learned and scholarly persons, and persons in the renounced order of life, unattached to material possessions. But we have never seen any one person who is unlimitedly and simultaneously wealthy, powerful, famous, beautiful, wise, and unattached like Kṛṣṇa in the history of humanity. So somebody may be very wealthy, let's say the wealthiest person on the planet. But does that wealthiest person also have the greatest wisdom? Is he also the most intelligent person on the planet? Is he also the most beautiful person on the planet? Is he also the most famous person on the planet? No. So Kṛṣṇa is that personality who has all 6 and in unlimited quantity. So Kṛṣṇa walked on this planet some 5,000 years ago. He stayed here for 125 years and he played exactly like a human being. So this is very, very important. He played exactly like a human being. That doesn't mean that he is an ordinary human being. No. Even though he played like a human being, he is still the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And his activities were unparalleled. So the Leelas of Kṛṣṇa, his activities have no parallel in the world. That's why Kṛṣṇa is called as the Leela Purushottam. Leela Purushottam. Whenever the Lord descends, he comes with a particular mission. He comes with a particular mission. So when Lord Ramachandra appeared, he was Maryada Purushottam Ram. So he followed the regulative principles, he followed the rules and regulations to perfection because he wanted to set an example of how is an ideal king, how is an ideal husband, an ideal son, an ideal citizen, like that. But Kṛṣṇa, he came to attract the fallen conditioned souls. So therefore he performed these unparalleled leelas. So therefore he is called as Leela Purushottam. Then Srila Prabhupada explains in the end, no one is equal to Godhead and no one is greater than him. Nobody can be equal to God. Nobody can be greater than God. We are only qualitatively the same as God, but quantitatively there is a vast difference. God is great. We are not great. Therefore, we must always worship. We must always surrender to the Lord. This is the import of the familiar saying, God is great. There are various classes of men in the world who speak of God in different ways, but according to Vedic literatures and according to different acharyas, the authorized persons versed in the knowledge of God in all ages, like Acharya, Shankara, Ramanuja, Madhva, Vishnu Swami, Lord Chaitanya, and all their followers by disciplic succession, all unanimously agree that Krishna is the supreme personality of God. So all these great authorities, all these great acharyas also agree that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So we accept the Vedic history of the whole universe, which consists of different planetary systems called Svarga Loka, Martya Loka, and Patala Loka. So our universe has 14 planetary systems, as you can see in this picture. So we are here in the middle, Bhur Loka. So these are the earthly planetary systems. Above them, we have the higher planetary systems, and below Bhur Loka are the lower planetary systems. So what are we trying to explain here is what Srila Prabhupada says here, that we accept the Vedic history of the whole universe. So we accept the Vedic history of the entire universe. This is documented in our Shastras. This is there in our scriptures. This is there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. But the modern historians cannot supply historical evidences of events that occurred before 5,000 years ago. That is not available to the modern historians. But our Srimad Bhagavatam does give us history of things that have happened even millions of billions of years into the past. For example, from these literatures, we are given the histories of Krishna's appearances and disappearance millions and billions of years ago. In the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna that both he and Arjuna have had many births before, and that he, Krishna, could remember all of them, but Arjuna could not. So this is the difference between God and the living entities. God can remember his past and future, everything he knows past, present, and future. So Krishna tells Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita that I remember all the past lives. And not only Krishna knows his own past whenever he has appeared, he also knows Arjuna's all past lives and in the past of each and every living entity. All of us, Krishna knows. That is God. No, but Arjuna does not remember his past life. He only remembers what he has seen in that particular lifetime, and the same thing applies to us. So this illustrates the difference between the knowledge of Krishna and that of Arjuna. Arjuna might have been a very great warrior, a well-cultured member of the Kuru dynasty, but after all, he was an ordinary human being, whereas Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead, is the possessor of unlimited knowledge. So therefore, he has a memory that is boundless. It's not bound by the time frame. Krishna's knowledge is so perfect that he remembers all the incidents of his appearances some millions and billions of years in the past, but Arjuna's memory and knowledge are limited by time and space, for he is an ordinary living human being. In the 4th chapter, Krishna states that he can remember instructing the lessons of Bhagavad Gita some millions of years ago to the sun god Vivaswan. So Arjuna is not the first recipient of this knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna tells him in the 4th chapter. Actually, he first spoke the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita to the sun god Vivaswan. So Krishna remembers it, but Arjuna cannot remember his past lives. So nowadays it is a fashion of the atheistic class of men to try to become God by following some mystic process. Generally, the atheists claim to be God by dint of their imagination or their meditational prowess. Krishna is not that kind of God. He does not become God by manufacturing some mystic process of meditation, nor does he become God by undergoing the severe austerities of the mystic yogic exercises. Properly speaking, he never becomes God because he is the Godhead in all circumstances. So one cannot become God. God is always God. Nobody can become God by some other process. No. So nobody can come and claim and say that I am God. No, nobody becomes God. God is always God. Eternally he is God. Nobody can be equal to him. Nobody can be greater than him. So see, there are 8 mystic powers. See here how Srila Prabhupada writes, nobody can become a god by manufacturing some mystic process of meditation. But now, unfortunately, in the modern times, there are some yogis who develop some mystic powers. They develop mystic powers, and then because of their mystic powers, they claim that they are God. Some of them may be able to walk on water. Some of them may be able to transport themselves from one place to another place. They can shrink in size. They can expand themselves in size. So these are mystic powers that they can get by performing some extreme meditational or some extreme tapasya. They can get these mystic powers, but that does not mean that they become God. It does not mean that they can become God. We should not be cheated by such people who they may have some mystic powers, but that does not mean that they are God. Within the prison of his maternal uncle Kamsa, where his father and mother were confined, Krishna appeared outside his mother's body as the four-handed Vishnu Narayan. Then he turned himself into a baby and told his father to carry him to the house of Nanda Maharaj and his wife Yashoda. So see, when Krishna appeared in the prison of Kamsa, he first appeared in this four-handed Narayan form. You can see here Devaki and Vasudeva here, and he appeared in the four-handed Narayan form. And then only he took the form of a baby. So it's not that he has become God over a period of time. It's not that Krishna has done some mystic power. He has some mystic powers. He has developed them over his lifetime, and therefore later in his lifetime he was able to perform some unparalleled leelas. No, when he appeared itself, that time itself he came in the four-handed Narayan form. So then, like that, Srila Prabhupada explains that how you cannot say that he later developed some mystic powers and therefore he became God. No. Although Krishna plays like a human being, he always maintains his identity as a supreme personality of Godhead. So it may appear that he is a baby, but still he is the supreme personality of Godhead. One should not think that, oh, this is only a small child, ordinary child. No, he is still God. Since Krishna is all attractive, one should know that all his desires should be focused on Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the individual person is the proprietor or master of his own body, but that Krishna, who is a super soul present in everyone's heart, is the supreme proprietor and supreme master of each and every individual body. So we know, we as the individual soul, we know what is going on in our body. We may be the proprietor or master of our body. I know the aches and pains that are going on in my body. If I have a headache, only I know that I have a headache. Another person will not know of it unless I tell the person. No, but Krishna, he is the knower of all the bodies. He knows what is going on in the body of each and every one of us because he is present in the heart of each and every one of us as the Paramatma, as the super soul. So he is there in the heart of every living entity. So therefore he knows what is going on. So therefore he is the supreme proprietor and supreme master of each and every individual body. Krishna, Prabhupada is explaining here. Then see this example. When one waters the root of a tree, he automatically waters the branches, twigs, leaves, and flowers. When one supplies food to the stomach through the mouth, he satisfies all the various parts of the body. So we don't have to water the branches, twigs, leaves, and flowers separately. We water the root, and automatically the nourishment goes to all different parts of the body. Similarly, when we give food to the stomach, then automatically all the parts of the body are nourished. It's not that we are giving food separately to our hands, separately to our legs. No. So therefore, when we worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, then automatically everything else is taken care of. We don't have to individually try to please anybody else or engage in any other practice apart from engaging in devotional service to Krishna, because that means we are watering the root of the tree. The art of focusing one's attention on the Supreme and giving one's love to Him is called Kṛṣṇa consciousness. We have inaugurated the Kṛṣṇa conscious movement so that everyone can satisfy his propensity for loving others simply by directing his love towards Krishna. So everyone has this need to be loved. No, we all like that we should be loved. So this is because ultimately we all love Krishna. The propensity of loving is coming from there. The whole world is very eager to satisfy the dormant propensity of love for others, but the various invented methods like socialism, communism, altruism, humanitarianism, and nationalism, along with whatever else may be manufactured for peace and prosperity of the world, are all useless and frustrating because of our gross ignorance of the art of loving Krishna. So, We may have many organizations, no, we have even the United Nations, they have been trying to establish peace for many years, but have they been able to really establish world peace? No. So unless we don't learn to love God, until then there will be no peace in the world. So real fact is that people can be happy only by loving Krishna. Only when we connect to Krishna, when we connect to the Supreme Lord, there can be some value to us. Let's just compare. There is a big machine, no? And that machine has many screws, many nuts, and many bolts. So there is meaning to that nut and to that bolt as long as that nut and that bolt is attached to that big machine. No? When that nut or bolt loosens and falls off from the machine, then there is no value to that nut that has fallen off from that machine. So in the same way, there is some value to our existence as long as we are connected to Krishna. Once we are disconnected from the Lord, then there is no value to our existence. Krishna can perfectly reciprocate one's loving propensities in different relationships called melos or rasas. So here Prabhupada is explaining the rasa or the melos or the loving propensity that every living entity shares with Krishna, no matter who the living entity may be. But each one of us has a special rasa or melo or relationship that we can share with the Lord. So there are basically 12 rasas, 12 relationships. 5 are primary relationships, and then we have 7 secondary relationships, 7 secondary rasas. So what are the 5 primary? Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. So Shanta Rasa means we appreciate the greatness or opulence of the Lord. But there is no active service. No, there is no active service, but there is a lot of appreciation. In Dasya Rasa, there is active service. So one example of Shanta Rasa can be the grass or the trees. When Krishna plucks the fruits from the tree, or when Krishna is walking on the soft grass, that grass, that tree, they are associating with Krishna in Shantarasa. They appreciate the greatness of Krishna, but there is a distance. No, they are not actively serving the Lord. In Dasya Rasa, there is active service, like Hanuman. Hanuman is perfect example of Dasya Rasa. He is the perfect servant of Lord Ramachandra. No, he is at the beck and call of Lord Ram. Then there is Sakyaras. Sakyaras means you are, or Sakyaras, better said Sakyaras, where one relates to the Lord in friendship. You can sit on the same level as the Lord, and you can joke and have friendly conversations with the Lord. So this is Sakyaras, like how Arjuna and Krishna. Then Vatsalya Ras means there is more intimacy. There is a protective, nurturing relationship. So Mother Yashoda shared Vatsalya Ras with Krishna because she wants to always protect Krishna from the demons. She wants to feed Krishna, feed him on time. No, so that is Vatsalya Ras, parenthood. Then Madhurya Ras, conjugal love. Srimati Radharani is the epitome of the Madhurya Ras, conjugal love with Krishna. So from Shanta to Madhurya, every time the intimacy is increasing in these 5 rasas. Then the 7 secondary rasas are Raudra, Adbhuta, Hasya, Veera, Daya, Bhayanaka, and Vibhatsa. If you want to see in detail, then you can read your Nectar of Devotion. You go to your Veda base, there is a book there called Nectar of Devotion. In these particular chapters, you can read in details about these different rasas. We are not going to go into details now, of course, because of time constraints. But yeah, you can say, for example, Kamsa. No, Kamsa also shared one relationship with Krishna, is that he was always engaged in thinking about Krishna, but out of fear, So he was in this rasa, Bhayanaka, because he was always fearful of Krishna. Ever since he heard that Devaki's 8th son is going to kill me, he always feared Krishna. So this is the rasa that Kamsa had with Krishna, for example. So here, Srila Prabhupada is explaining about these rasas that each living entity shares with Krishna. And Krishna is called as the Akhila Rasamrita Sindhu. He is the, because all these rasas are there in Krishna. So therefore he is called as the Akhila Rasamrita Sindhu. Then Prabhupada continues, it is said that although one executes severe austerities, penances, and sacrifices in this life, if he fails to awaken his dormant love for Krishna, then all his penances are to be considered useless. On the other hand, if one has awakened his dormant love for Krishna, then what is the use in executing austerities and penances? So ultimately, the goal of this human birth is to come to the level of loving God. It doesn't matter whether one is a Hindu or a Christian or a Muslim. Any path, ultimately, the goal is to love God. So the Krishna consciousness movement is a unique gift of Lord Chaitanya to the fallen souls of this age. It is a very simple method which has actually been carried out during the last 4 years in the Western countries, and there is no doubt that this movement can satisfy the dormant loving propensities of humanity. This book, Kṛṣṇa, is another presentation to help the Krishna consciousness movement in the Western world. This transcendental literature is published with profuse illustrations. So if you have the physical copy of this book, you can see those beautiful paintings. Of course, they are also available online. So you can see how the paintings in this book are, they look so realistic. People love to read various kinds of fiction to spend their time and energy. Now, this tendency can be directed to Krishna. The result will be imperishable satisfaction of the soul, both individually and collectively. So, we spend so much of time reading other fictional books, novels, newspapers. But if we can spend the time reading about Krishna and Krishna's pastimes, then it will help us to awaken the dormant love for Krishna that we have in our hearts. It is said in the Bhagavad Gita that even a little effort expended on the path of Krishna consciousness can save one from the greatest danger. Hundreds of thousands of examples can be cited of people who have escaped the greatest dangers of life due to slight advancement in Krishna consciousness. We therefore request everyone to take advantage of this great transcendental literature. One will find that by reading one page after another, an immense treasure of knowledge in art, science, literature, philosophy, and religion will be revealed. And ultimately, by reading this one book, Kṛṣṇa, my love for Godhead will fructify. So, what is a result of reading this Kṛṣṇa book? If we can read this Kṛṣṇa book under the guidance of Srila Prabhupada, with his purports, with his explanations, then at the end of it, we will fall in love with Krishna. This is the result or the fruit of reading this book. My grateful acknowledgement is due to Sriman George Harrison, now chanting Hare Krishna, for his liberal contribution of $19,000 to meet the entire cost of printing this volume. May Krishna bestow upon this nice boy further advancement in Krishna consciousness. So, George Harrison had contributed the entire cost for printing this particular volume of the Krishna book. It was his donation that enabled the printing of the Krishna book. And my ever willing blessings are bestowed upon Shriman Shyamasundar Das Adhikari, Shriman Brahmananda Das Adhikari, Shriman Hayagriva Das Adhikari, Shriman Satswarupa Das Adhikari, Shrimati Devahuti Devidasi, Shrimati Jadurani Devidasi, Shriman Murlidhara Dasa Brahmachari, Shriman Bharadwaja Das Adhikari, and Shriman Pradyumna Das Adhikari, etc., for their hard labor in different ways to make this publication a great success. Hare Krishna, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Advent Day of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. So, Srila Prabhupada wrote this on the appearance day of his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. February 26, 1970, ISKCON headquarters, 3764 Vatseka Avenue, Los Angeles, California. So actually when Srila Prabhupada wrote this Krishna book, still ISKCON was only in its second or third cantos of the Srimad Bhagavatam. But Srila Prabhupada, he knew that time is less. He is in his advanced age. So he wrote the commentary on the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the most nectarian part of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So he wrote this commentary on the 10th canto, even when ISKCON was still only on its second or third cantos of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So we'll stop here because it's only the first class. We will do the introduction in the next class if Krishna so sanctions. And then we will have an exam at the end of the next class, which will combine your introduction and the preface, what we have read today. And after that, Krishna willing, we will start with chapter number 1. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Right. Do we have any questions or comments?
One question. Today there's no exam, right, Mataji?
No, because originally the plan was to finish both introduction and preface, but I think it's still in the first class and time is a factor. So today there is no exam. In the
Thank
next
you.
class onwards, we will start. So what I will do is at the end of the class in the chat, I will share a link. It's a Google form. You click on the link and you'll have a 15-minute time period to submit the exam. Within 15 minutes, you submit the exam, and then we will see the average at the end of the course. And those who have an average of at least 60%, no less than that, at least 60% or above, then they will be entitled to get the course certificate on behalf of the Education Department of ISKCON Chile.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So,
Just,
do you need a
just
physical copy to for the quiz, or is just, or will you be sending the recording?
I will be sharing the recording 6 days after our live class because some people wrote to me that they cannot make it for the classes on Sundays. So after they see the class on Saturday and they give their live exam, then I will be sharing the recording for everybody. 6 days after the live class. We'll have to
So
do
the quiz is okay. So the quiz is purely based on what you listen in the class.
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay, okay.
everyone can share this Saturday class, Saturday recording. Sorry.
Yes, Saturday, those who are going to attend, if you cannot attend the class on Sunday, then you can attend the class on Saturday. But the class on Saturday I will be only playing the recording of this particular class. It's not going to be a live class. Only the recording will be there. Okay.
No, I understand. My question is that everyone can see the recording class.
Yes, everyone can see. After Saturday, it will be open for everyone.
Okay,
I will
perfect.
share
And
it in the group.
this class will be continue for 1 hour every class or more.
It between 60 to 90 minutes, depending on the length of the chapter. Maximum
Okay.
90 minutes.
Maximum 19.
Yeah, but we'll
Perfect.
try to keep it less. Yeah, 60 to 90. Let's keep it that, depending on how long the chapter is.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
I think any question? The pronunciation of numbers, big numbers, for example, 1917 is de esa manera, de esa forma, se pronuncia una fecha como 1977, así se pronuncia como fechas grandes.
Yo no entiendo, no entendí, perdón.
Ok.
Hare Krishna.
La pregunta es si la pronunciación de la fecha que 1917 es como que se pronuncia, por ejemplo, 1970 en inglés. O sea, 1970, 1917.
Ah, sí, generalmente así se pronuncia, sí.
Algo así, claro.
Sí, en general sí.
Como
Hare
simplifica
Krishna.
como la pronunciación como del número.
Ajá, claro.
Claro, como que lo simplifica eso.
Sí,
Ya,
sí.
Hare Krishna.
Generalmente así se dicen, sí. No sé si es gramáticamente correcto, pero en general así dicen. So if you have any questions, you can
Hare
raise your
Krishna.
hand.
Hare Krishna, Mother.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I just have one question. I'll be traveling next weekend. Like I'll be on the road trip. I have Harinam Sankirtan on Saturday, and then I'll be on the road trip on Sunday. So how do I do the text?
Okay, so there are only two options. Either you attend the class live on Sundays or you see the recording on Saturdays and give the exam. And if you cannot do either of the two, then you'll have to only skip the exam. So anyway, there are 90 weeks. And hopefully
Okay.
you'll be able to make to be able to attend more than 60% of them, and then that way you'll be entitled. But if you cannot attend the live class on Sunday and you cannot give the exam even on Saturday, then you will only have to lose out on those marks of that particular weekend.
No, just this weekend. It's just this coming weekend that
Then
I
you
want to
can,
be
yeah,
there.
then it will not affect your final score because it's 1 out of 90, so it shouldn't matter.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So will
Hare
can
Krishna.
you share the digital copy of this of the book Kṛṣṇa?
Okay, I will once give me a minute. See, you go to your Vedabase. You have here vedabase.io.
Okay.
Vedabase.io, here you have this book, Kṛṣṇa, here. So here you have this book and you can read it. Today we completed the dedication from Apple and Preface. So here you have, and you can see the entire book here up to chapter number 90. So I would recommend that you read the chapter before the class. Now you know that next class we have introduction. So if you can read the introduction before the class, it would be very nice, because what we are going to do in the classes, we are not going to be able to read every line, every text. We are going to summarize many paragraphs, etc. So it would be very nice if all of you can read that particular chapter before the class. So that would help you and would help me, and we can have a better understanding.
So Mataji, all that you covered today, all the rasas and everything is there in the preface, and
Yeah, there are some extra details that I have put in the PowerPoint for better understanding. I will be sharing the PowerPoint as well, that you can read. When I share the recording on Saturday, 6 days after the live class, I will be sharing also the presentation. So you can see that and read that in great detail at your free time, whenever you want. But the exam is based strictly on the text that is found in the Kṛṣṇa book. Okay, whatever extra information I show on the slides will not be there in the exam. That is only for your extra added information.
Yeah, sure. Makes sense. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Tenía dos últimas preguntas. Cuando hablaba de acerca de los avatares, decía como que Ramachandra era Mariada Purushottam Ram Lila.
Sí.
Ese es el concepto que, o sea, Krishna es Purushottam Lila y Ramachandra Mariada Purushottam Lila.
Sí, Krishna es Lila Purushottam.
Ok.
Sí, cada avatar viene con un fin, ¿no? Entonces,
Vale.
Señor Ram es Maryada Purushottam y Krishna es Lila Purushottam.
Mariada como de Marriott, Marriott como de, creo que esposa o pareja.
No, Maryada es como respeto. Él siempre respeta las reglas
Ok.
de Shastra, de Dharma y todo eso. Siempre
Ok.
portó en una manera que estaba tal cual como sigue Shastra.
Ok, y tenía una última pregunta, no tan relacionada con el curso, pero eh, ¿es cierto que están escribiendo como el canto 12 en inglés del Bhagavatam? ¿O ya está escrito?
En inglés está escrito, pero lo que no hay es una traducción fidedigna de canto 11 y 12. Pero en inglés sí está en Vedabase online. Está.
Gracias, thank you.
De
Hare
nada.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions or comments?
Mataji, I have one comment to say.
Yes, Mataji.
So you mentioned like Krishna is Akila Rasamrita Sindhu, Rasa, each living entity shares with him, and Raudra, Bhayanaka, these are all individual rasas, and any individual can share one of these rasas. Thinking in those lines, it's amazing that even Raudra, Bhayanaka, those can be rasas, can be shared with Krishna.
Yes, it's so wonderful, no? Krishna accommodates everyone. And Krishna is an equal opportunity employer. So nobody is outside that mercy net of Krishna. Yes, most amazing.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Shivani.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dhamma Pranams. I seek all of your blessings, especially yours, Mataji, on my this material birthday today. Please kindly bless me that I can bring my family, number one, in Krishna consciousness and do good devotional service to Guru, Gauranga, and Vaishnavas without any tinge of, what do you call, ego. No ego, just humbleness. I seek all of your blessings. Hare Krishna, Dhamma Pranams.
Thank you, Shivani. Wish you a very, very happy birthday. Very auspicious day, your birthday. And may Srila Prabhupada and all our acharyas fulfill all your sincere desires.
Thank you so much, Mataji. And thank you so much for starting this wonderful book, this wonderful journey today. Looking forward to it. Hare Krishna, Dhamma Pranams to all.
Thank you. Thank you for being a part of this.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Good
Krishna.
morning, everyone.
Hare
Good
Kumar.
evening.
Anything else? Any questions or comments, doubts, concerns? Shreya?
No, Hare Krishna. Thank you for starting this, I waited more than a year for this.
Thank
So
you. Thank you for being with us. Anything else? So I hope all of you can continue with us till we finish all the 90 chapters. It's going to be an amazing journey. If you just stay with us, then definitely at the end of it, you will fall in love with Krishna. So please stay with us. See you all next week if Krishna so sanctions. Till then, have a nice week in Krishna consciousness. Vancha kalpa taruvyascha kripa sindhu vyaivacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Krishna book ki jai. Hari bol.
Hare Krishna, Dhamma Pranams, Mataji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, muchas
Hare
gracias.
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.